Good evening. We will now start with the invocation, and I am very proud to provide the invocation this evening. I would like to reflect on a most powerful event in our community this last week. We experienced together the 5th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day Unity Walk. It was held at Central Park. On the morning of January 19th, hundreds of Santa Clarita neighbors of all ages, backgrounds, and beliefs came together, not as individuals, but as one community, walking side by side in the spirit of unity, compassion, and hope. It was a beautiful reminder of who we are at our best and what is possible when we choose to have a connection over division. Surrounded by art, music, and the energy of togetherness, we were reminded that Dr. King's message is not something we simply remember, it is something that we must live. The theme, Mission Possible Too, building community, uniting a nation in the nonviolent way, could not have been more fitting. We affirmed that progress is achievable when we lead with kindness, empathy, and peaceful action. It was especially meaningful this year to have our young people take the center stage, sharing their voices, their talents, their vision for a more compassionate future. They reminded us that the hope is alive and that the next generation is ready to carry this mission forward with courage and heart. The Unity Walk also reflected our community's generosity and care for one another as residents who attended, supported those in need through donations to Bridge to Home, showing that unity is not just symbolic, but actionable. So tonight, may we resolve to always carry that same spirit with us. Let us lead with respect. Let us listen with open hearts. And let us remember that every decision we make has the power to strengthen our community when we are guided by compassion and shared purpose. May we all continue walking forward together, not on just these special days, but every day, building a Santa Clarita where everybody feels welcome. Thank you all, and I want to thank everybody that attended and was so positive with such a wonderful turnout at that event. We will now call to order. Roll call, will you, City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilwoman McLean?
Here.
Councilmember Gibbs?
Here.
Mayor West?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ayala?
Here.
Councilmember Miranda?
Here.
Would you all like to rise and join me in the flag salute? Please place your hand over your heart. Repeat after me. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Council, are there any questions that you have on this agenda?
I'd like to pull agenda item number 9.
I was pulling it too. Everybody good with that? Pulling 9? City Clerk, are there any speaker cards for any item on consent?
I have a speaker card for item 9.
Okay, so item 9. All right, then we'll go ahead and we'll move into awards and recognitions. And we will hear from Mayor Pro Tem Patsy Ayala.
Thank you. You have the description? Thank you.
Tonight, the City of Santa Clarita is proud to recognize outstanding Santa Clarita High School Marching Band programs for their exceptional achievements in the Southern California School Band and Orchestra Association, one of the most competitive music organizations in the region. These awards reflect months of dedication, discipline, and teamwork. Marching band students balance rigorous academic schedules with countless hours of rehearsal, performance, and travel, demonstrating not only musical excellence, but leadership, perseverance, and school pride. First, we would like to recognize Valencia High School's Pride of the Vikings, who earned first place in Division 2A. This outstanding accomplishment is a testament to the talent, precision, and passion of the students, as well as the dedication of their directors, instructors, and supporters. Next, we will congratulate William S. Hart. Is there somebody from William S. Hart today? I think we're going to send it. Okay. I'm going to move to the next. And finally, we're going to be recognizing West Ranch High School Wildcat Marching Band and Color Guard, who earned first place in Division 5A. This top honor reflects the creativity, teamwork displayed by both the musicians and the color guard throughout their season. Thank you to the students, band directors, instructors, parents, volunteers, cheerleaders, and everybody who support these programs and make these achievements possible. Your success not only brings pride to our schools, but to our entire community. In a personal note, I have to tell that I've been in many of the competitions, and they are amazing. Thank you so much for everything you do, impacting positively our youth in Santa Clarita. Congratulations to all the programs on these remarkable accomplishments, and thank you for representing Santa Clarita with excellence on the regional stage. And now, I would like to invite students and instructors from the leadership teams for all the schools to the dais to take a photo and say a few words. So I see Calvin, come on over. And also from West Ranch, if there is somebody from West Ranch. Excellent.
Is it on? Okay, it's on. West Ranch? Yeah. Cassie?
Yes.
Excellent. Come up here.
Oh my God. Oh, I'll wait for the microphone. Mayor, you want to go in the middle? What? I leave it for you in the middle.
We're good.
Okay.
3, looking right over here. 2, 1. One more. 3, 2. Squeeze in a little more. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Thank you.
And I'll pass the microphone.
Yeah, it's on.
The director.
Good evening, Mayor and Honorable City Council members and all people in attendance. On behalf of the programs, we would like to take I'd like to express our deepest gratitude for this incredible recognition following our victory in Divisions 2A and 5A championships. It's an honor that's not just a trophy or a title, but represents countless hours and dedication, passion, and teamwork for so many individuals. As many of you know, planning started in February or sometimes even January, leading up into 11 months worth of hard work. And we are just so thankful for our parents, who are the backbones of our program, the staff who contribute so much, and of course the community who recognizes the importance of music and the arts. The acknowledgement tonight reinforces something that we know is true. Arts education is not an extracurricular luxury, but it's a fundamental component of a complete and equitable education. Music teaches critical thinking, collaboration, perseverance, empathy, creativity, and leadership. It gives students a place of belonging and a reason to strive and a space to feel seen and valued. Thank you for this honor, for your support, and for believing in the power of music. Together, we can ensure that the arts remain a vital and important part of our community for generations to come. Thank you. So our show theme, she was asking, our show theme for Valencia was called Transcendence. And then for West Ranch was...
Yes, Calvin did a great job of articulating all of my thoughts. Our show is entitled Red, which followed the story of Red Riding Hood. No, I just want to echo his comments. Huge thanks to all of our parents and especially our students for all of their hours of work and preparation. Without, all of that effort, we always tell them, if you put in the effort and if you buy in, it will pay off, and it paid off for them. So we're very, very grateful.
Before they leave the stage, we have just been gifted with one of their medals. And so let's have the council stand in with them, and we'll hold that up because it's very special, and we thank you very much. We'll put it in a place of honor. Come on, council, get up here. Get over.
Yes, oh, another picture, sorry.
Yes, another picture. Another picture. Hold up, picture. And let me just-
3, 2, 1. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
We are thrilled with all our students. They're always exceeding our expectations, and it's wonderful to live in a community where we have kids that are so involved and do so many amazing things. So I want to thank all of the teachers and all the trainers and all the parents and all the effort that goes into helping these kids accomplish so much. So we thank you. Now we're going to go to public participation. Thank you, Mary. I have 2 speakers' cards. The first one will be Linda Townsley, and the second will be Lynn Planbeck. Jason, look at that pretty. Isn't that cool? There. Go ahead, Linda.
I'm Linda Townsley, and I live on Fraternity Row in Clarita Canyon for TMU. I'm here to say a few words about Lola Williams, an institution in our beloved Clarita Canyon, and I'm here with full permission of her son, Roy. We lost Lola Williams on January 7th, 2026. Lola moved into Clarita Canyon in 1961, the same year LA Baptist College moved to Clarita Canyon 65 years ago. Lola fought to the end for Clarita Canyon and the rural equestrian lifestyle. Unfortunately, she was tormented by the students of TMU racing up and down her dirt road with loud cars and motorcycles, loud parties, and other student shenanigans. She tried to get help from TMU administration and the city with no success. After she posted signs on December 6th protesting the TMU expansion, she said TMU security would drive by and shine bright spotlights in her bedroom window so she could not sleep. Our mayor didn't even respond to her phone calls for help. I just want to say that even on her deathbed, TMU haunted her. She woke up for a few moments the day before she died and asked, quote, "What's going on with the college?" unquote. And, quote, what are they doing now?" unquote. I hope Lola can now rest in peace.
Lynn Planbeck.
I came to speak to you about the Oak Ordinance update that's being proposed and raise some concerns and ask that you would do public outreach. I don't know if that's come to you yet or you've had any discussion about it, but we have an oak on our city seal. It was the first ordinance. To many of us, it's very upsetting for the city to make it easier for residents to remove trees. Were a lot of excuses being given, like insurance and fire danger. None of the fire ordinances are going to cover protected trees, but if you take those protections away from them, we're going to lose them. I'm especially concerned for my own neighborhood because I live in the old area of Newhall, and the oaks there are the beauty of the neighborhood. This ordinance, if people wanted to, would probably allow about 2/3 of them to be removed. So I just want to ask if it's scheduled to come as the first reading on March 10th, and I wanted to ask if you would delay that and allow public outreach from urban forestry to the community that cares about oaks. When the county updated its oak ordinance, they did considerable outreach to people that were concerned about oaks in county areas throughout the county. There was quite an interesting group. And one of the things the county did, which I think I've brought to you before, but I wanted to bring to you again, was this lovely flyer about living under oaks to encourage people to take care of their oaks and save them because, of course, they are the baseline plant in our area, and if we lose them, we're going to lose so many of our native birds and pollinators and other critters that depend on acorns. So I'm hoping that you would delay the first reading and that you would allow an outreach program to gather people that are concerned about oak trees and see if we can make some suggestions before it comes to you. And these are the flyers. I brought copies. So thank you for your consideration on that. And I wanted to say something else, but I've forgotten it now.
City manager, comments? Okay, no comments. All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Mayor,
Yes?
I'm wondering regarding that ordinance that's coming forward, when I read it, I didn't think didn't have major changes, but maybe we should do something to have some public outreach on it, especially maybe education too.
Well, I think along with that coming forward, there will be education. The oaks are in trouble over drought. They're in trouble over that new beetle that's now attacking them everywhere. We're losing trees all over the place. And of course, we're dealing with the fire insurance issues in California, so I'm sure that we're going to end up with a lot of discussion once we have it in front of us.
And Mayor, City Manager, we'll have 2 readings, so we'll have 2 opportunities coming forward to address and amend the council should desire.
Yes, that's correct. And it was, as Ms. Planbeck mentioned, it was also heard at a public meeting and at the Planning Commission.
I would just suggest that as many people as you can get educated as to what it really says, and maybe show up when we have the first reading.
Agreed. All right, that concludes city manager's comments. Let's go to committee reports and council comments, and I'm going to start with Bill.
Thank you, Mayor. We celebrated the groundbreaking of Via Princessa Park last week. The future park will be located just beyond the railroad tracks and will be accessed by a new pedestrian tunnel. Once completed, Via Princessa Park will become a vibrant new community destination featuring 4 multi-sport fields with lighting, 4 pickleball courts, an entry gathering plaza with shaded seating, and a nature-themed playground. The project will also include a stormwater infiltration system, similar to the one at the Canyon Country Community Center, designed to capture and treat stormwater on site. Be sure to follow the city's social media accounts for progress updates. I also want to take this moment to address my lovely wife, Virginia, at home, as we're celebrating our 52nd wedding anniversary. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. This weekend, the city of Santa Clarita celebrated a landmark occasion, the 20th anniversary of the Newhall Community Center. For 2 decades, the center has served as more than a facility. It is a home away from home, a refuge, and a trusted resource where residents of all ages come to learn, connect, get active, and find support. The event highlighted how generations of families have relied on the space for programs, classes, cultural experiences, and access to information and services. From after-school activities and camps to lifelong learning opportunities, the Newhall Community Center continues to strengthen the neighborhood by fostering belonging, stability, and community pride. We look forward to many more years of service, connection, and growth for the residents who call the Newhall Community Center their own. Also, I want to mention that this weekend I have the opportunity to take the Community Emergency Response Team training with the fire department. It was 3 days of training, and I invite, this training can be for anybody, for any family. They train civilians in basic disaster response, because sometimes when we have emergency that could be earthquake, fire, anything, in the meantime, we have our first responders. There are things that you can do for your family, and they train you for that. The next one is going to be in the fall, and that's all. Another thing that I would like to propose for the City Council is to establish the Outstanding Santa Clarita Citizen Award for seniors. Usually the seniors of high school, they get recognized in a very special night, that is the Seniors Awards Night. And there's no award from the city of Santa Clarita. I am very proud of many students, and the Seniors Awards Night, I think, is a good opportunity to recognize one outstanding senior that gave back to the city of Santa Clarita in any way. We have so many volunteers, and they do amazing things. So if you agree, we can do that at the end of this school year. You good? You good?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you meant seniors, like high school seniors who've been actively involved with volunteering. Got it. Okay.
You were talking about our
Sure.
seniors.
Yes, the senior high schoolers.
We just sign more certificates
That's
for
right.
them.
Yeah, we do that. One for each high school, one outstanding
The
senior.
ones that volunteer.
Yeah.
The ones that have been volunteering.
All right.
I would suggest that rather than just throwing it out there, we put together a short plan because selecting the top senior in any high school, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, one of the ways that it was working before in the experience that I have in the Senate, we send these to the principal, and the principal, that since they don't know better their students, they were sending back who is the selected one. But we can, of course, it's in the table of discussion.
We passed the buck to the principals.
Well, that principal here.
Well, I think staff could look into that and
For details.
and check in with the schools and see how they'd like to handle it. And it's always good to give more acknowledgement for good work. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we want to be the ones to choose or a senior. I think once they're chosen by their schools, perhaps we can acknowledge them, but we can just look into that rather than having us be the impetus.
Agreed. Agreed?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Right. I think Bill's
Thanks, Marcia.
suggestion was good. Just pass it to you, staff, and come back with a plan.
All right.
All right, Marcia, you ready? No, he hasn't gone yet. Oh, you want me? Okay. Yeah. Bill.
Well, now that we're back into full swing, we're pretty busy with certain things that we've all been doing with our committees and such. And I just wanted to mention that there have been ongoing homeless task force executive committee meetings and fundraising committee meetings, and then our entire homeless task force meeting on Wednesday. January 14th at 11 a.m. at the center. And so just want to let everyone know that we're not just letting it slide. We're working very hard with the different committees on the task force in order to do what we can to make sure that our homeless are not forgotten of any age. So that is ongoing. And then on the 16th of January, I attended, and our city manager was there, the Castaic Sports Complex renaming ceremony to honor Los Angeles Deputy Sheriff Ryan Klinkenbrummer, who was brutally gunned down while he was on the job. And it was really moving to see his family and so many law enforcement who did attend to honor him, and want to thank our supervisor, Catherine Barger, for arranging that. And then, of course, it was already mentioned about the Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Walk. I really liked the new location near the stairs, and obviously there was more room for people to gather, and it was a great, great ceremony with the young kids. It was very special. And we attended the groundbreaking, all of us, for the much-anticipated Via Princesa Park, adjacent to the Via Princesa Metrolink station. The future park will be located just beyond the railroad tracks and will be accessed by a new pedestrian tunnel. And the park will become a vibrant new community destination featuring 4 multi-sport fields with lighting, 4 pickleball courts, an entry gathering plaza with shaded seating, and a nature-themed playground. The project will also include a stormwater infiltration system similar to the one at the Canyon Country Community Center, designed to capture and treat stormwater on site. Be sure to follow the city's social media accounts for progress updates. It's going to be very, very special when it is open, and there will be access to and from the Metrolink station, the Metrolink trains. And I attended, along with some of our city council members, the one-year anniversary of the opening of Family Promise. It's a beautiful facility giving families much-needed help while maintaining their dignity. And then also, it was mentioned, we celebrated the 20th anniversary of the Newhall Community Center. It went from a very small facility able to serve a few people to what we have today. And our city should be very, very proud of what we do. And just one other thing, attended yesterday, along with Councilman Gibbs, the North Los Angeles County Transportation Coalition, JPA, meeting in Lancaster, and was proud to be chair for the past year, and pleased to turn the gavel over to Eric Olson, council member, City of Palmdale, as chair, and our own Renee Berlin as vice chair, representing Los Angeles County. And I want to mention that I'm asking that we adjourn our meeting tonight in memory of Lola Williams. Her son, the information from her son was sent to me by Tammy Fawcett, and so I'd like to just kind of give some information. Lola Williams passed away on January 7th. She was born on June 4th, 1936 in Los Angeles, California. She was raised in the San Fernando Valley on her family's horse ranch and riding school, where horses, hard work, faith, and resilience shaped every day of her childhood. Lola, her mother, and her siblings cared for more than 100 chickens on that ranch for eggs and meat, and one of Lola's daily responsibilities was watering all the horses twice a day. She was a skinny little girl with a big spirit, and her father gave her the name Toodles. Her father did whatever it took to feed the family, ranching, hauling horses, and working at Melody Ranch in the late 1940s and 50s. Lola worked right beside him as a wrangler, gaining deep knowledge of horses and ranching. Her mother was also an accomplished horsewoman, and Lola inherited that expertise. Lola attended Marquand School, which was an elite private school for wealthy families, and movie stars' children's. And recognizing the extraordinary horsemanship of Lola and her sister, the school owner insisted they attend for free. In 1961, Lola and her husband, Roy Williams, moved to Placerita Canyon, becoming one of the original families in the canyon. Together, they raised 2 sons, Roy and Glenn, and built a life centered on their animals, family, and enjoying the canyon lifestyle. She loved Placerita Canyon because it represented the rural equestrian values she cherished, especially as equestrian communities were being pushed out of the San Fernando Valley. That conviction drove her fierce advocacy for Placerita Canyon. Lola was a founding architect of the Placerita Canyon Special Standards District, helping to officially codify and protect the rural and equestrian nature of the canyon. She worked tirelessly to ensure that horsekeeping, larger parcels, and rural land use protections were formally recognized and preserved, shaping the community as it exists today. Despite being told you can't fight City Hall, Lola always tried and often succeeded. She was a regular at City Hall, and she was never shy about letting her elected officials know where she stood on an issue and why. She took her civic duty seriously, and standing up for her community was deeply woven into her values, and I can attest to that firsthand. I enjoyed many, many conversations with Lola. She is survived by her son, Roy, who continues her legacy as a guardian of Placerita Canyon and an outspoken champion of the Placerita Canyon Special Standards District she helped create and fiercely defended. Lola Williams will be remembered as a skilled horsewoman, a beloved mother, a woman of faith, and a warrior of the equestrian way of life. Thank you.
Jason.
Thank you, Mayor. First, Mayor Pro Tem Ayala, you had mentioned the fire training you did. Were you running a fire extinguisher up at the sports complex? Avery and I were going up there for basketball, and she saw you, and I said, I think Patsy's putting out a fire, and I think that's exactly what you were doing there in the parking lot. Very cool. And Councilmember Miranda, congratulations for 52 years. That's an absolute beautiful thing. Chandra and I are at 12 years, but she'll tell you it feels like 50 years with me. But it's not something we see every day, sir, so congratulations to both of you. Today we had a Groundwater Sustainability Agency meeting. I got to serve as the president for the past year, so we turned the gavel over as well, as we did yesterday for NCTC, to President Bill Cooper. So I want to congratulate him and thank everybody there at the agency for the work that we do. It doesn't get a lot of publicity, but man, they have some of the biggest agendas I have ever seen. But they do incredible work for one of our most important resources, so I've been proud to be a part of that organization. And the only other thing I wanted to mention to everybody is that the city of Santa Clarita is excited to announce the return of One Story, One City this March at the Santa Clarita Public Library, bringing the community together once again through a shared reading experience. This year's selected title is The Music Shop by Rachel Joyce. Set in 1988, The Music Shop follows a record shop owner with a unique gift for connecting people to the music they need until an unexpected new customer challenges him to confront his own past and emotional barriers. Throughout March, residents are invited to take part in a variety of engaging programs and events inspired by the book, including a literary experience accompanied by live music from the Santa Clarita Symphony Orchestra, Books and Brews, and The Right Note, a community drum circle and acoustic therapy. To see the full schedule of programs, please go to city.sc/OSOC. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think we'll just go ahead and move now to new business, moving to item 1. This is our 2026 committee appointments list. So before we discuss committee appointments, do you have any speakers?
There are no speakers.
No speakers. Okay. Then let's go through the appointment list. Is there any changes? Anybody have any changes they want to talk about? I don't. You? Okay. Mayor Pro Tem? You're not interested in any committees?
Yes, the sanitation, also, I see that there's no alternate on SCAG, so I can also help on that one. If you want to continue on the SCAG, I can be alternate.
Clarify.
Yes, I see that the delegate is City Council Member McLean for SCAG, but I don't see on the list there is an alternate.
There are no alternates allowed for
No required.
SCAG.
Oh, okay.
Just one person? Okay.
Okay, no, that's fine. And, yeah, sanitation, and also, I am an alternate on the homelessness committee. I would like to see if I can exchange with City Council Member McLean or City Council Member Gibbs for the North Los Angeles County Transportation Coalition, but you are already on the homelessness. It will be more with Council Member Jason Gibbs if we can exchange that committee.
For which one, Mayor Pro Tem? I'm sorry.
For the last year, I was alternate for the homeless issues. And sometimes I attend to many transportation meetings, so I was wondering that I can bring that input to the North Los Angeles County Transportation Coalition.
Sure.
Yep, okay.
Staff got that? Ken, did you catch that?
So far, I've heard consensus on the homeless issues.
Wait a second.
That
What about the homeless issues? You're,
Oh, no, I'm sorry,
there's
no.
two things, that's separate
no.
North
things.
County
The first one,
Transportation.
let's go one by one. The
North
first
County
one, it will be sanitation. I would like to serve in that committee. Also, to exchange the homeless, I was alternate last year for homeless issues, alternate. And I was asking City Council Member Gibbs if I can exchange with him the position with transportation, so he could be the alternate on homelessness, and I could take his position that he was serving for Transportation Coalition.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's an exchange.
You have to, if you go on sanitation, you're prepping for your next year to be on that committee. So it's a complicated committee, so I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because Councilman Miranda's still on that, and I don't think you want not to be on it, do you?
I see two names on that one. Are we allowed to have, because,
Well, the mayor has to be. And then
has to be there.
there's the councilman.
Bill,
yes.
did you want to
Miranda.
serve as alternate on that committee?
It doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter, sanitation. All right, so,
Well, I don't think that's, well, never mind. I'm not going to get into that. She's taking it away from you, but.
If he's okay.
It doesn't matter to me. Marcia's the alternate now, right?
Right.
It's your call, I guess.
no, Patsy has to go on sanitation because next year she's going to have to sit and do those meetings. It takes a while to learn that.
Well, we all learn in turn, but that doesn't matter.
Okay, well, she's
You're the
asked
one
for
that
it.
gets to choose, so.
Well, that's an area that I would love to serve. If the city council allow me to serve in that, I would love.
All right, so we have Mayor Pro Tem Ayala going on San District, and it's just, Bill, are you staying on as alternate, or?
No.
No, all right, you're letting that go. So, Marcia?
And Mayor, one question. City Manager, for NCTC, is it possible to move me to the alternate? I know we typically have a city staff there. Is that an issue?
Yeah, I think Jason needs to stay on it.
Okay. If that's all right, if I can, I'm fine moving to the alternate on
Okay.
the NCTC.
All right, have you got all that written down now?
Just so I have them clear. On the NCTC, will become McLean and Patsy Ayala, and then Jason, you'll be the alternate. On homelessness, Jason, you will become the
Take the
the
alternate.
alternate on that. And then on sanitation district, it'll be West and Ayala. And then McLean as delegate, as alternate?
McLean would be alternate.
Yes, okay, I got those.
And the other one, it's the North Los Angeles County Transportation Coalition to be delegate with City Council member McLean.
I've got
And-
that. NCTC is Ayala and McLean, and then Gibbs as an alternate. Yep.
All right, we all clear?
Okay, on homeless issues, is it me and Ayala, or, because I'm on the, I'm the vice chair of the task force, that's different, right?
Correct. It becomes you and me. I'll be the alternate now for homeless issues.
Oh,
On the last page, page 14 of the packet.
oh, okay. But the task force stays the same, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It is the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Have a motion,
Second.
have a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Miranda,
Yes.
Councilwoman McLean,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ayala,
Aye.
Councilmember Gibbs,
Aye.
Mayor West.
Aye. All right, we'll now move on to new business, which is item 2. And we will have staff, Amber Rodriguez. No? I got you.
Good evening. Yes,
Hi.
ma'am, it's going to be me. Thank you, Mayor West, members of City Council. Jason Crawford, Director of Community Development for the city. Tonight, I'm going to present an item on city-owned property on Main Street. And I'm going to provide a little bit of background on how we got to tonight, similarities between this and what the city did during the redevelopment block, also on Main Street, and ask for City Council to authorize us moving forward with a path forward. So as a little bit of background, Old Town Newhall has been an area of emphasis for the City Council for some time. The Old Town Newhall specific plan was adopted in 2005, laying out a framework for an arts and entertainment district anchored by parking structures that provided a park once method and incentivizing new restaurants and retail and businesses and mixed-use projects to come to the Old Town Newhall area. In 2016, actually almost 10 years ago, in February of 2016, the City Council authorized 3 projects to move forward on what was called the redevelopment block. The Limley Art House Movie Theater, the Newhall Crossings mixed-use project, and the city public parking structure. We'll be talking about something similar tonight. There is an opportunity on property that the city has purchased on the south side of Main Street to do another project. To give a little context, you'll see in this map, this is the Main Street. This is the redevelopment block that we have 3 projects that council authorized in 2016. And this is the city-owned property that we'll be talking about tonight. There's the it's currently a surface parking lot. It used to be owned by the Coffees. There is the former golf shop, Roger Dunn, and then there is the former Moore's Sub Shop that is also a surface parking lot right now. So to zoom in on that area, this is the property highlighted in yellow. You'll see it's bisected by a street here. The entire property is under 1 acre. We potentially could look at a project that would include giving up some of the right-of-way, potentially the diagonal parking here on Main Street and vacating this street. That gets the overall property size to a little bit over 1 acre. For some context, there's currently 85 public parking spaces between the 2 public parking lots in yellow. And there's an additional 7 diagonal parking spaces right here in front. for a total of 92 public parking spaces today. The landscape has changed a little bit since we did the redevelopment project. So in 2020, the Surplus Land Act, an act of the state of California, required that every city, before they sell property, go through the Surplus Land Act process. So we did that. As part of that, you offer the property up for potential affordable housing developers. You have to go through a lot of steps that the state puts together. We did that. And the requirement that comes from having done that from the state is that any residential project that ends up on the property has to have a minimum of 15% affordable housing. So any project on this property that has residential units, 15% of those would have to be affordable. So that is a different piece than what we did the original for the redevelopment block. The next step after we completed the Surplus Land Act was we issued a request for proposals, which is the same that we did for the redevelopment block. In this case, we sent it out to over 1,000 different groups, and we had 75 different groups download and look at the RFP, looking for a developer to come in and partner with the city on a project. We only had one group submit a response to that RFP. That is Serrano Development, who happens to also be the developer that the city worked with on the original redevelopment block. So the next step, and what we'll talk about next, is project concepts and entering into an exclusive negotiating agreement. So the objectives that we have been working towards for this property include the first priority, which is increasing public parking. The other ideas are making sure that any project that gets developed adheres to the Old Town Newhall specific plan, activates the street, creates new restaurant and retail space, is active for the pedestrians on the street, provides mixed-use projects that allow for people to live in Old Town Newhall, which creates eyes on the street, creates customers for businesses on Main Street, and that any mixed-use project, any apartments would provide their own parking. So similarly to the redevelopment block, once we issued the RFP to look for projects, we realized that it would likely be better served to be two separate projects, a parking project and a mixed-use project, which is where we ended up also with the redevelopment block. So what I'm going to walk you through right now is two concepts. There could be changes on these concepts as we work through them, but to give you an idea, the parking structure concept that we've seen would take part of the property that the city owns and build a parking structure that could potentially have 300 parking stalls. That is more than triple the number of parking spaces that are currently provided by the surface parking. Potentially, we could look at leasing some of those stalls to a mixed-use project. I'll talk about that a little bit more. The concept that we've looked at would be all entirely above ground. The previous parking structure had one level of subterranean parking, but for cost savings and for simplifying a possible project, we've looked at an entirely above ground project. We had looked at whether or not the diagram, the site layout would need to infringe on the right-of-way, and it likely looks like moving into those diagonal parking spaces would allow the right footprint to allow for a parking structure, but still keeping both the traffic lanes intact on Main Street. There's also the potential to create that Main Street activation, potentially to have a space in the parking structure there at the corner of Main Street that I'll show you in just a second, that could be maybe 1,850 square foot is the concept now. Could be a little bit more, a little bit less. But that allows activation along Main Street that continues the specific plan's guidelines. This is a concept of what this could look like. Here would be Main Street, here would be the roundabout. And I know these are just block drawings, but it's because it's very early to look at what just a project concept could look like. In this case, this would be a parking structure. This is the area I talked about at the corner that could potentially have a retail or restaurant space to activate this corner directly across from Canyon Theater Guild. This is a concept of a potential separate project, which would be a mixed-use project, again with retail and restaurants activating Main Street, a lobby for the apartments, parking underneath, and then apartments above that. You'll see that in this concept, the second and beyond floors are pulled back from Main Street to sort of follow that same sort of architectural pattern that we've seen on other projects so that it doesn't feel too overpowering on Main Street. The concept that we have been able to look at with Serrano for a mixed-use project could have 65 total units. 10 of those, as the requirement of the state, would have to be affordable. About 2,750 square foot of commercial, retail, or restaurant space. Provide the same ratio of parking as the previous redevelopment block project provided. To do this, one concept we've looked at is them providing 53 spaces on site and then leasing spaces from the city's parking structure. And in this design, the first floor is commercial retail restaurant fronting Main Street, parking for the apartments behind it, and then 5 stories of apartments above that. And it also would extend into the right-of-way where we would vacate part of 5th Street that separates the 2 city parcels right there. This is just an idea of what this could look like. Again, this is a concept. What we would be looking at, similarly as to what we did on the redevelopment block, is to enter into negotiations and refine this, which I'll talk about in just a second. But here you'll see the parking structure on the left, the potential mixed-use concept on the right, with the retail in front, the parking behind it. And then this shows just a concept of what the second floor, third floor, et cetera, would also look like, keeping the roundabout fully intact, keeping both traffic lanes on Main Street intact. So with the redevelopment block, once we had received all the RFP responses and wanted to move forward with a concept design, we entered into an exclusive negotiating agreement. We're asking to do that again tonight. In this, it would be a 6-month term for us to negotiate with Serrano on a number of points, but including the purchase price of the property, the exact site design, so exactly which amount of square footage would be the parking structure, which would be the mixed-use project, the details of what that mixed-use project would look like, any right-of-way considerations and off-site improvements, the phasing of the mixed-use project along with the phasing of the parking structure project, which again would be a separate but parallel project. And then financial terms, including potentially the lease of parking spaces from the parking structure to help fund the cost of the parking structure and providing required parking for the apartments. Any and all of these deal points would be negotiated over the term of the negotiating agreement and then brought back to the City Council for consideration. So the next steps would be, if council authorizes us to enter into the negotiating agreement, we will work directly with Serrano, as we did on the redevelopment block, put together the best deal points that we can for the highest quality project of a mixed-use project. Separately and concurrently, we would be looking at a parking structure project. We would refine those and bring those back to City Council for consideration. So the recommended action tonight, and I'll remind that earlier today we sent a memo to the City Council providing a couple of revisions to the ENA as we were moving very quickly to put this together to try to move things forward. There were a couple of pieces in the ENA that we provided the City Council earlier today that more closely matched the previous language of the ENA that the City Council had approved in 2016. So with that, we recommend the City Council entering into an exclusive negotiating agreement with Serrano. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason Crawford. Appreciate that. All right, council, questions, comments?
More the questions.
Do we have speakers?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we do. I see
Okay.
one. I thought we didn't have any. Sorry, Mary. 2 speakers. First speaker is Lynn Plembeck, and the next speaker is Tim Van Boydston.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, I believe those are oak trees down at the end where the building's going to go, and I was wondering if you could require them to get moved into the roundabout. It would be so beautiful. We've had oak trees there for a long time, and as I said before, they're iconic trees in the Newhall area. And also, I hope that this is going to be really mixed use, not some kind of jiggered around mixed use that doesn't really meet the FAR values, the ratio that it's supposed to be. You've done that several times, like with the apartments down on Newhall with Wiley Canyon. It wasn't really the right ratio. There's not really any mixed use, but you called it mixed use. And I just hope that there's really going to be mixed use here, because that's what's supposed to be there. Thank you.
Tim Van Boydston.
Mayor West, members of the City Council, and our City Manager, Mr. Ken Striplin. My name is Tim Van Boydston. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Canyon Theater Guild, which is directly across the street from the proposed project. I will say that we are very excited about the idea that we might be getting the other parking structure that is in the master plan and is so desperately needed. I have one question that perhaps staff can let us know, and that is in the negotiating with the proposed developer, will it have a different legal context because of the fact that it's going to be a contract with the city with regard to the 30-day state law that unfortunately put the city in the position before not being able to make changes with regard to the parking for the last Serrano development, which is in the next block down, that was approved this last year or earlier this year. That's the first question I had, and the second question is that with regard to not just the Guild, but all of the restaurants and retail that are on the street down there, we would want very much to make sure that the parking obviously was maximized with regard to trying to target that Park 1 space is supposed to have 400 spaces. If you're going to do density in that area, according to the master plan or similar to that, then we really need to make sure that we have the right number of spaces. And that also means that with regard to the apartments, that they have the parking that is required under the code. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. All right, comments from council? Questions?
No, more than questions, I think it's much needed, the parking structure. Now we have an option. Because I was not here when they approved the previous project, how many developers at the time with not this requirement about that now we have for affordable housing, did we receive more developers willing to do this? And do you think that's why we only have one?
The original redevelopment block RFP, we did receive more responses And we narrowed those down to the top two to negotiate with, and then we entered into the exclusive agreement with Serrano. In this case, it could be the affordable housing requirement. It could be uncertainty. It could be a lot of reasons, but we tried to get it out. We got it out to over 1,000 groups, and Serrano was the only group that responded.
Thank you.
I just, I don't hear anything else from the council, so I just, oh, go ahead, Marcia. Go ahead, Marcia.
Okay, when Serrano came forward with the first redevelopment project, it turned out to be absolutely great. They wanted to work with us. We were able to talk about aesthetics, and they listened to us. Councilwoman West and I wanted it to look a certain way, and they made it look that way. When the Hartwell project came along, they met with us, again, as council people, and they made certain promises, and then they get over here and they pretended that they didn't say what they said. And I do not look kindly upon someone who says something to your face and then get up here and just change their minds and try to change it. So that's one thing I have with them. So if we're going to enter into something with them, I think we need to make it clear that we want it to look as the bookend to the original project, and have them hire an architect that would make that happen. Maybe they could go back and hire the first one. So I'd love to be able to put that kind of down as a condition when you're negotiating with them as to what the project is going to look like. So aesthetics are important to me. The other thing that is important to me is, or a question I have, is who's funding the parking structure? Is that going to be the responsibility of the city?
Most likely that will be the responsibility of the city.
Okay, so then when we're negotiating with them, I'm assuming they're going to pay us for the properties that they need to build their portion of it?
Correct.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to get enough money to fund that parking structure. So I guess I would like to know what is the potential for the city to receive enough money to build that parking structure.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
You're an acre of land, which we're going to use a portion of it. The parking structure is going to be, early estimates are going to be north of 20 million. We will not get close to that for the property.
Well, I guess I'd like to know how much did we pay for that, the properties that we're going to be selling to them. Are we going to get our money's worth?
Yes, that I believe we will.
So we'll have some portion to be
Yes,
able to pay for
there will be
the?
a contribution from the sale of the property that can go towards the parking structure, yes.
Okay, and are we going to require that they lend some money towards the parking structure? Because they got away with murder on the Hartwell. They truly did. They kind of led the whole deal, and I feel like they really got much more than they should have, and they got away with a lot. And I'm hoping that's not going to happen on this project. I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but we're not in the business to fund, make sure developers make a ton of money. We're there to have them build, to have enough money, but also to not take advantage. And then I'd like to know, after negotiating, if we don't reach an agreement, and what happens then? I mean, do we have the ability, are we locked in to be with them regardless of whether we feel like they're doing a good job or not? Or at the end of the negotiating, can we go out and look for somebody else if we're not satisfied?
We've got the council, what's before the council is a 6-month agreement. So we have 6 months to sit down with Serrano, discuss the deal points, come to some form of agreement, and then come back to the council with a recommendation. If during that 6-month period we cannot come to terms and we don't believe a deal is to be had, then that would be the end of that negotiating agreement at the end of that 6 months.
Okay,
So we could go back out and start all over if that were the prerogative of the council.
okay. And then it looked like the roundabout was going to be very, very close to the project or the building. How are you going to protect that building from someone going too fast? I mean, it seemed really close. Are you going to be able to have a barrier between the roundabout and the project?
I can pull it up. Again, this is an early concept, and so we will take all of that into consideration. Architecture, elevations, aesthetics, and then the safety and placement of the roundabout and how much of a buffer there needs to be. So I hear that, and that'll be part of what we're discussing as we put together and refine this concept.
And then how much does the state have their thumb over us on this project?
Now that we have successfully passed through the Surplus Land Act process, as long as there is the 15% affordable as part of the project, then we've satisfied all the requirements of the state.
Okay, and then I think I saw where this building needs to be 1 story over what we have said we would like to have down in Old Town Newhall. Even though we've raised it to 5 stories, they're thinking they have to have 6 in order to make it pencil. And who's going to be saving the money if we don't go underground?
Well, for the parking structure, the city would be saving the money by not going underground. As you're absolutely right. As part of this concept, the building height of both the parking structure and the mixed-use project go taller than the existing parking structure and the existing Newhall Crossings project. And that is really due to the site constraints, the layout of this property. But again, this is going to be refined and negotiated and then brought back to City Council for consideration.
Okay, and then for the parking structure down at the other end, we were able to make it look really pretty. So I'm hoping that that same thing will happen here, and it's not just some big, ugly square brick thing.
The parking structure is ours. So
Okay.
the design and the building of that most likely will be before the council for approval. So you'll have the opportunity to make sure it's pretty.
And then, do you think if we did put it back out there, since we only had 1 response, would we get any better? Or do we just kind of, are we stuck to go ahead with this?
I couldn't tell you. I don't think anything's changed in the last 2 or 3 months that I can point a finger at. Our recommendation is to move forward with Serrano based on what we know.
Okay, thanks.
All right, I have a couple comments. Thank you, Marcia, appreciate that. There's an overriding issue with council about Old Town. And so I just say this to staff, it's aesthetics, aesthetics, aesthetics. It's architecture. It's a beautiful place and a place people want to go because it feels good to be there. And so it's very important. So I would say, let's instruct the developer that the council really wants it to be like the very beautiful one at the other end of the street, and he can accomplish that if he gets back that same architect or one that can do the same kind of work. They can't all do the same kind of work. It's like any profession, different people have different aspects. So my thought is that we really focus on making beautiful, and I know that the city did a really nice job on the other parking structure, so I'm assuming that we'll have one just as good. I was going to ask you, are you going to relocate the Walk of Stars plaques? They're in the sidewalk along there, and you're encroaching into that.
If they, It'll be, yes, they will be taken care of one way or the other. I don't know that based on the
Taking care
design
of
we
where
have
they're
now, whether they
relocated,
have to
not-
move or not, but
Okay,
it will be
so-
taken care of for sure.
All right, because I just walked it and I said, well, we're going to move those. And so I just wanted to make sure we thought about
There'll
it.
still be a curb area in front of the proposed building, so it may just mean that we have to relocate them closer to the street. They will be taken care of for sure.
Our cowboys would haunt us if we didn't do that. Parking is probably the key overriding issue for an old town. If you don't have parking, you cannot accommodate the businesses and have an old town. So I agree with Tim Ben on parking is really critical. And I'm actually glad you're not trying to go subterranean because that causes all kinds of other things, especially with issues when we get, 40 inches of rain. It's kind of a tough thing. So I'm excited to see this start to move forward, but I would like the developer to really focus on the same level of quality that he was able to put at the other end of the street. So that's all my comments. And you have one, Bill?
So I have a question. Have we done this before? Have we asked for complete authorization for the city council to do all the negotiating for us? Have we done that before?
Yeah, we did this. This is a very similar process we had with the Newhall crossings on the north side of the block.
Okay.
And this comes back at the end when you get done negotiating anyway. It comes back to.
Okay, so that's important that we make that clear, that because the line that I'm looking at right now says authorize the city manager or designee to execute all documents subject to attorney approval.
That's for the exclusive negotiating agreement. So that's the agreement before the council tonight that authorizes us to go negotiate exclusively with Serrano Development to come up with the deal points that we talked about here. Once that's done, we would come back with another agreement for the council that would contain those deal points, a purchase and sale agreement, more details of the project. That would all be vetted through the council and approved by the council at that time.
Okay, so the project
Comes back to the council.
comes back to the council. Okay, thank you.
All right. I think we're ready for a motion.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. City Clerk, could you call the roll?
Councilmember Gibbs,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ayala,
Aye.
Councilmember Miranda,
Yes.
Councilwoman McLean,
Yes.
Mayor West.
Aye. Thank you very much, Mary. So we're now going to go on to consent, and I think we're pulling item 9. Pulling item 9. And I'll bet you we have a speaker card. Bet you I know who that is. Come on up, Tim Van Boydston.
Madam Mayor, did you want me to
Yeah, I
do mine
think,
first? Or
yeah, go ahead and speak before Tim Ben.
it may help with Mr. Boyston's comments.
And maybe he wants to still speak and thank you, or maybe he wants to say more. We'll see.
All right, thank you. Mayor and members of the City Council, in regards to item 9, the community services grants, we were made aware of some information in the last day or so that made us go back and reevaluate some of the applications. In those applications, we realized that there was a staff oversight on the inclusion of 2 documents by 2 of the award grantees that we're looking to award a grant to tonight. The document in question relates to their organizational budget. I'm not sure that receiving those documents would change the ratings of the grants. However, but they are not there. It was an oversight by us. That resulted in a couple of grantees not getting grants if we were to have removed them. So what I would propose to the council is that with the 2 grantees, it's Circle of Hope and the Sulphur Springs Education Foundation, that their grants be approved pending the submittal of the necessary 2 documents and making sure that if there's no issues with those do move on and be approved. However, in light of the error on our part, I would recommend that the council also go down 2 more levels and pick up the Santa Clarita Youth Orchestra at $5,000, as well as the Canyon Theater Guild at $7,500, just to kind of balance it out.
So it'll be
We would
fully
take that money
funded.
from contingency.
They'll all be fully funded. All right. Mr. Boydston, do you still want to speak? Never give up an opportunity. Just say thank you.
Okay, I have to stand in a different place. I think it was too close. Is that right? Okay.
You're good.
I think the mic is picking up properly now. So I would like to thank you all on behalf of the Canyon Theater Guild for the funding for us to be able to help defray the cost of the Santa Clarita Performing Arts Center. As you know, from when you've helped build it and also help fund it each year a little bit, because it's a facility, it's expensive. And so thank you for the funding that will help. We're going to spend over $100,000. We're going to be bringing, we have the rights to bring Disney's Frozen, the musical, to our valley to do the Broadway version for the first time. So I hope you all come see that. I also want to take a moment to just reflect and realize that the Canyon Theater Guild's Old Town location is going to be celebrating its 25th anniversary of being down there. And thank Mayor West, because at the very beginning, she worked with me very carefully, and without her help, we may not be able to put it together. She knows the hours that we spend together to make sure that would happen. I would also like to thank our esteemed Councilwoman Marcia McLean, who was with the Canyon Theater Guild before she was actually on the City Council and before I got to the Canyon Theater Guild, and all of her hard work and support over the years. I appreciate that. And I also want to thank Mr. Miranda for all the time you've been on the council. You've been an incredible supporter of the Guild, and we see you at the performance a lot. And you know the value of the arts. And to our newer members going through the parking issues downtown, I want to thank Mr. Councilman Gibbs for all of his actual understanding. The depth of understanding that you have of what goes on is amazing. So thank you. It was a pleasure working with you on that issue, and looking forward to the one across the street now. And Ms. Ayala, Councilwoman Ayala, I do also want to thank you personally, because you sat and gave us the time so that we could really look at this at the last project. It didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but the fact that you had the knowledge and the time and the energy and effort to do that. So thank you, and thank you to staff. Thank you to City Manager Striplin. Without all of you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So we'll serve 25,000 people. We'll give out about $20,000 worth of grants to kids this coming year, and all that is only possible because you all made it possible. So thank you, and I hope to see you all at South Pacific. We'll be playing for 4 more weekends. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim Ben. All right. I think, are we ready for a motion? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mayor. I had one recommendation I wanted to make. Under the Community Services Grant, line item 10, we were allocating money to the Santa Clarita Valley Food Pantry. What I would like to offer is, I know obviously they've been in the news quite a bit and the doors had been closed, even if temporarily. What I'd like is not to remove their funding, but to ask staff to hold that pending their resolution and making sure they're up and running correctly before we allocate.
Yeah. Are we all good with that?
Yeah.
I would see no problem with that. You just hold the funding until it can be used.
Thank you, Mayor.
Are we ready to have a motion on consent?
Can I just ask a clarification? So is the Canyon Theater Guild going to get the full funding, the 7,500?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, 7,500.
Yeah, I don't think Tim Ben would have said thank you.
Yeah.
He wasn't kidding.
He wouldn't have used the whole 3 minutes anyway.
Yeah, he wouldn't. No, it's all good. It's all good. We'll see him at Frozen. All right, now can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion with the recommendations.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll
Madam
call,
Mayor,
please.
just for clarification of the motion, that motion would include the additional appropriation of just under $11,000 for the additional grants that we're recommending.
That's correct.
Without saying? Yes. Yes? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mary.
Mayor Pro Tem Ayala,
Aye.
Councilmember Gibbs,
Aye.
Councilwoman McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Miranda,
Yes.
and Mayor West.
Aye. Okay, we've gone through roll call. Do we have a second public participation speaker? We do not. In that case, we will adjourn in the memory of Cameron Goat and Lola Williams. Or God, however it is. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.